Listen, we really need to talk about what is essentially a 1.2 billion euro ticking time bomb sitting right in the middle of Real Madrid.
Oh, boy.
I mean it. Because you look at this squad for the 2026 season, and you look at what's stretching out in front of us, and it's just overloaded. Egos are inflating by the minute.
Right.
And Jose Mourinho is basically staring at an impossible puzzle because there is absolutely zero room on the pitch. This isn't a dream scenario. We're talking about a tactical and financial bottleneck that is either going to, forge an invincible dynasty or completely tear this locker room apart.
Okay, I have to stop you right there out of the gate because you are looking at this entirely backwards.
Also,
A ticking time bomb. Really, this is like the ultimate luxury in modern football. You're calling an unprecedented assembly of generational talent a bottleneck.
because it is.
No, it's not a crisis of space. It is a test of ruthless management. If a manager cannot figure out how to deploy the greatest attacking arsenal assembled in a decade, well, that's a failure of leadership. It's not a failure of squad building.
Well, it's easy to call it a luxury when you're just looking at names on a spreadsheet.
It's a pretty good spreadsheet to have, though.
Sure, but I want you, the listener, to really think about this for a second. Because you think you want all the stars in the world until you realize that someone with a massive ego, a massive contract, tens of millions of followers, has to actually sit on the bench.
Yeah, that's true.
Are you ready for the fallout of that?
Yeah.
Let's just lay out this sheer, terrifying reality of this tactical nightmare. We are talking about Kylian Mbappé, Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Jr., and now Diomandé.
Yep.
The new high-priced marquee attacking signing. All of them are demanding minutes. All of them are expecting to be the undisputed star. If Vinicius stays and finds his 2025 form again, how on earth did they all play? You can't just throw 11 attackers on the pitch and hope for the best.
Which is exactly why you have to make a radical tactical shift. Like, if you have those four, you play them.
All four.
All four. You deploy a 4-2-4 formation.
A 4-2-4. Wait, in modern European football?
Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this, because on the surface, that sounds like pure tactical suicide.
Well, listen to the mechanics of it before you write it off. You place Diomandé and Bellingham centrally, right? They operate as this fluid, essentially two creative playmakers operating just behind a phantom striker, constantly rotating.
Okay.
Vinicius locks down the left flank, and Mbappé has the freedom to drift and strike from the right or the center. But the key to making this work, and this is crucial, isn't the attackers.
It's the midfield.
It's the defensive structure. You put Eder Militão and Marc Cucurella as your center back and left back foundation. You drop Rodri and Aurelien Tchouameni into the engine room, right? The central midfield pivot.
To just sweep up everything.
Exactly. To sweep up absolutely everything. And at right back, you put Fede Valverde.
Wait, hold on. Fede Valverde at right back.
Yeah.
If you pull Valverde out of the midfield and stick him at right back, don't you completely surrender control of the transition game? I mean, you're fixing a problem in attack by creating a massive hole in your engine room.
No, you're not.
You are. You're sacrificing your most dynamic midfield asset and shoehorning him into defense just to keep egos happy up top. That's not tactics, that's cowardice.
It is not about keeping egos happy. It is about maximizing your elite assets through a tactical pendulum.
Right.
Yes, because by putting Valverde at right back, you aren't just moving a player, you are creating an asymmetrical shape. When the team attacks, Valverde doesn't just sit back, he pushes up to overload the midfield. He effectively turns that 4-2-4 into a 3-3-4 in possession.
I mean, on paper, maybe?
Tell me right now, who is a better right back in world football if you need tactical discipline, ungodly stamina, and the ability to cover an entire flank by himself? Fede Valverde at right back is a better, more complete option than Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Oh, wow.
It's a fact. He provides the width, he provides the defensive cover for the four attackers during transitions, and he balances that asymmetrical shape perfectly.
Okay, I see the mechanical logic on paper, but you are completely denying the psychological context here.
Okay.
Let's talk about the pressure on Diomandé. The club paid an absolute fortune for him. If he struggles to adapt in his first few months, like if he looks heavy, or if this double 10 system just doesn't click, can Mourinho realistically bench him in the big Champions League games?
He has to.
But given his price tag, if you commit to a complex 4-2-4 just to accommodate him, and he fails to grasp the spatial awareness required, the entire structural integrity of your pendulum completely collapses.
Well, if he doesn't perform, he goes to the bench. It's that simple. It has to be that ruthless.
You say it's easy to bench an expensive signing, But look at the logjam right behind them. This isn't just about the front four. Look at the bench.
I know, the bench is stacked.
It's a bench of broken egos.
Yeah.
I call it the B-team logjam.
Yeah.
We are talking about Bernardo Silva, who, let's not forget, is Mourinho's hand-picked European champion.
Yep.
Sitting on the bench, we have Arda Güler, who is desperately trying to prove himself to Mourinho in every single training session. You have Endrick. You have elite teenage prospects like Gonzalo and Mastantuono who need high-level minutes to develop into world-class players. They are all demanding starter minutes, and their development is just completely stalling.
And you haven't even mentioned the two massive elephants in the room.
Brahim and Rodrygo.
Exactly. Let's talk about contract management, because this is where the board has completely lost the plot. Brahim Diaz is locked in until 2030.
Which is a massive commitment for a squad player.
It's a massive mistake. His ceiling is completely known. I mean, he's a useful player, sure. Good professional. But in a squad overflowing with elite, ascending talent, extending him to 2030 is absurd.
Yeah, it really does make sense.
A smart club would have sold him at his peak value. It would have brought in fresh blood, fresh capital, and opened up a squad space. Instead, you've created this immovable asset on the books who directly blocks the development of a Mastantuono or a Güler.
And then there's the Rodrygo factor. He's out with injury until at least February 2026.
Right.
His contract ends in 2028. That means when he comes back, in the middle of a brutal, congested season, he has exactly 6 months to prove he deserves a 1-year extension.
Which is an insane amount of pressure.
6 months to reclaim his spot in a team that might have already completely evolved without him.
Exactly. And how do you rotate all of these players to keep them match sharp? You literally can't.
But wait, history says we can. I mean, think back to Zinedine Zidane in 2017.
Oh, come on.
No, seriously. He successfully navigated this exact type of ego overload with his legendary Team A and Team B setup.
Got this again.
He kept everyone happy, he rotated entire starting 11s in La Liga for away matches, and they won the double. Mourinho just needs to replicate that blueprint.
I cannot believe people are still using the 2017 analogy. It is completely flawed. You're looking at it with sheer nostalgia and completely ignoring the mechanical reality of that dressing room compared to today.
How is it flawed? It was a masterclass in man management. He distributed minutes perfectly.
Zidane succeeded for two very specific reasons that do not exist in 2026. First, he commanded absolute unquestioned respect. He was Zidane.
Fair.
Second, and vastly more important, he had a veteran Cristiano Ronaldo who finally, reluctantly accepted rest.
Right, because of his knee.
Because Cristiano arrived physically broken to the 2014 and 2016 finals. He was so run down that in the 2016 Champions League semifinal against City, Zidane was forced to play Jose because Ronaldo literally could not walk onto the pitch.
Wow, yeah, I remember that.
Cristiano realized his body was failing him, so he accepted the rotation for the sake of his career longevity.
So you're saying today's players wouldn't accept that logic?
I am aggressively pointing out that today's young stars are not as malleable or easily manipulated as those 2017 veterans. You think a 20-year-old generational talent backed by a massive PR machine, an entire entourage, and documentary crews is going to sit out away at Osasuna so the B team can get a run out?
I mean, probably not.
No. They are ruthless, they are impatient, and they view every single minute on the pitch as a crucial data point to boost their own global brand. Their sponsors demand they play. You cannot manage the squad like it's 2017 because the commercial realities of the players have fundamentally changed.
Okay, so if the 2017 rotation myth is dead because of modern player branding, and the 4-2-4 is the only way to fit the attackers, we come back to Valverde.
We do. And this is where the club needs to make a brutal decision. If Valverde will not accept a rotation role in the midfield, or if he refuses to lock down that right-back spot and play the tactical pendulum role for the good of the system, he might need to be sold.
Wait, sell Valverde.
Yes.
That goes against every instinct I have. I mean, he is the soul of this team. He is an untouchable status player.
Yeah.
If you sell him, aren't you essentially admitting that the club bought too many attackers and now has to cannibalize its own midfield to pay for it?
If the machine cannot operate because the gears are grinding against each other, you remove the gear that commands the highest market value and fixes the bottleneck. It is basic squad economics.
Well, when you refuse to sell a player who won't accept a shifting role, you aren't just risking locker room chemistry. You are actively bleeding financial value.
Exactly.
And if we look at the internal financial reports, you can see exactly where that bleed is happening. despite the shiny headline numbers.
Oh, the numbers that the board just loves to parade around.
Right. I want you to listen to these historic financials because, on paper, they are undeniable proof of Madrid's dominance off the pitch. We are looking at 1.221 billion euros in revenue.
Massive.
That's a 3.1% increase, an 18% jump in EBITDA, which,
Right.
for those who don't spend their days reading financial sheets, is essentially the club's raw operating profit before tax.
Yeah.
And they posted 26 million euros in pure net profit, which is an 8% jump from the previous cycle. The club looks like an absolute financial juggernaut.
I refuse to applaud those numbers.
You can't argue with 1.2 billion.
Yes, I can. The top-line revenue is staggering, sure, but you are looking at the incoming tide and completely ignoring the structural leaks in the hull. I am looking at a club with an absolutely abysmal outgoing transfer policy.
Abysmal.
Those profit margins should be double what they are, and I'll tell you why. Madrid completely, spectacularly failed to exploit the Saudi Arabian market over the last 3 years.
Man, the Saudi market was a gold rush. It was a generational influx of capital into the sport, and we just stood on the sidelines holding a tin cup.
It is worse than that. Let's look at the mechanics of the Karim Benzema exit.
Okay.
The narrative spun by the board was that letting him walk away for free to Saudi Arabia was some sort of masterclass in respecting a club legend.
Right, rewarding his loyalty.
It is an absurd narrative.
Yeah.
It was a catastrophic failure of capitalization. The Saudis were handing out 50, 60, 80 million euro transfer fees for players with half his pedigree.
That's true.
And Madrid let the reigning Ballon d'Or winner walk away for €0.
It's incredibly frustrating when you view it as an asset management issue. And it wasn't just him. Nacho leaves as a free agent too.
Yep.
The club showed a total baffling inability to sell young, mid-age, or veteran players to the Middle East, while all of our European rivals cashed in. They sold their depreciating assets for inflated fees and rebuilt their squads with Saudi money.
And we held on to players until their transfer value evaporated entirely. Every time a player leaves on a free transfer, it severely impacts the amortization structure of the club. You look at those record revenues, but behind them are tens of millions of euros left on the table because the board lacks ruthlessness in the outbound market. They treat players like family members instead of financial assets.
It's a terrifying lack of foresight.
Mm.
And it brings us directly to the enemy's camp. Because while Madrid is choking on its own excess and failing to sell players at their peak, we have to reluctantly acknowledge the scouting data coming out of Catalonia. Barcelona is setting a terrifying domestic pace. We are projecting a 90-plus point season for them, based on their current metrics.
A pace fueled by raw momentum, sure.
Fueled by World Cup winners. You look at the data. Pau Cubarsí is playing with the tactical maturity of a 10-year veteran. Lamine Yamal is on a frightening, historic trajectory.
Yeah, he's incredible.
And they finally have a perfectly healthy Dani Olmo pulling the strings in the middle. The momentum they have right now is undeniable.
They have momentum, but if you look closer at their transfer sheets, they are repeating Madrid's exact worst mistakes.
How so?
Let's undercut this Barcelona fairy tale right now. What is the fundamental rule of building a championship team? You fix the foundation before you buy the chandeliers.
Right.
Barcelona has a glaring, undeniable crisis at center back. They are leaking high-danger chances. And what did they do with their limited capital? They blew 110 million euros on attackers.
Right. The reports show 80 million euros spent on Gordon, a rapid attacking winger, and 30 million on Adeyemi.
Exactly. 110 million euros that could have secured any elite center back in world football, and they dumped it into an already crowded forward line. It's like noticing the foundation of your house is sinking into the earth and deciding to fix it by buying a 110 million euro chandelier for the living room. It is sheer delusion. They're seduced by the glamour of the attack and completely ignoring the structural rot at the back.
And you know what the ultimate symbol of that impending doom is? Look at Rafinha.
Oh, absolutely.
The guy is turning 30 this December. He is coming off a disastrous, physically draining World Cup campaign. Any smart, ruthless club would look at his age, look at his declining physical output metrics, and sell him right now before the transfer window closes.
Yes.
Cash in while his name still carries weight and value in the European market.
But they won't. I guarantee you they won't. They will hold on to him out of pure sentimentality or some misguided belief that he can somehow recapture his 2024 form.
Which is gone.
They will miss the optimal transfer window, his injuries will start to mount, his pace will drop, and they will be stuck with a depreciating asset on massive wages who provides zero on-pitch value. Sound familiar?
It sounds exactly like what we were just criticizing Madrid for with Brahim Diaz.
Yeah.
The exact same trap.
Precisely. Both of these massive clubs are locked in this bizarre arms race of hoarding attacking talent while completely ignoring the unglamorous realities of squad management, defensive structure, and asset depreciation.
Which brings us back to the ultimate terrifying reality for our manager. We've looked at the tactics, the egos, and the financials. Now, I want you, the listener, to put yourself in this exact scenario.
Good luck to them.
You are Jose Mourinho. It is the morning of the Champions League semifinal. The pressure is suffocating. You look at your roster. You have a fully fit Kylian Mbappé, a fully fit Vinicius, a fully fit Jude Bellingham, a fully fit Diomandé, and Arda Güler is just scaring a hole through you from the corner of the room. And structurally, tactically, you can only pick 3 of them to start.
It is the ultimate managerial nightmare.
Yeah. Exactly. Whose career do you derail? Whose carefully crafted ego do you shatter in front of the world? And more importantly, how do you survive the locker room mutiny the next morning when their PR teams start leaking stories to the press?
Someone is going to break under that pressure. The only question is whether it's the player who gets benched, the manager who makes the call, or the structural foundation of the club itself.
And that is exactly the kind of question we want to leave you with today. Don't just sit there and listen and get in the comments and tell us we're crazy.
Please do.
Tell us exactly how you would solve Mourinho's nightmare. Subscribe to Bernabeu Notes on YouTube. Hit us up on Instagram. Find us on TikTok.
And honestly, make sure you subscribe just so we can generate enough revenue to pay for Fede Valverde's right-back transition therapy. Because if they actually run that 4-2-4, he is going to need it by November.
We'll see you in the comments for the next session. Keep diving deep.